Welcome, everybody, to Social Discording, the podcast all about people who are stuck at home here in this here pandemic. I'm your host, Bandersn, and joining me to my right, left, that way, is my co-host, Joey Spicy Fries.
Hey, how's it going?
He was gonna do the podcast in a blanket, very cozy, but he decided to sit up and be professional, like he should.
I decided to be professional.
And for whatever reason, our usual third co-host is not responding on their phone. I think they slept in. So we've got our good friend, NotAndrew, who's joined us today.
How's it going?
Welcome to the show.
Well,
thanks for having me.
And
thanks for being here.
I've got my mug today. We've got my Bitmoji mug with that my girlfriend gave me, Haley. It was a Christmas gift where she's giving me a cup of coffee, but she messed up, and I'm actually giving her a cup of coffee.
Aww.
And she was very embarrassed about that, but it's still cute.
Very cute.
So it's been a week. It's been quite a week.
Quite a week.
Yeah.
So much. There's a lot. It's a lot going on. Last week we did do a little quick segment about Black Lives Matter and talk a little bit about that. But I feel like now we can actually dive into it and actually talk about it instead of just a little bit at the beginning. Obviously, last week we said like, oh, the three of us support Black Lives Matter, all that stuff. Very easy thing to say. Andrew, do you follow suit? Are you also Black Lives Matter?
Oh, definitely. I think everything going on right now is just, a long time coming. It's unfortunate to see it sort of manifest in the way that it has, but
like a boiling point of like a geyser just finally burst.
Oh, exactly. Just the amount of anger and vitriol. Like, I feel like it's been an unjust system for far too long. So yeah, definitely right there with the movement. Even if it is a little scary to hear like the helicopters and all that stuff flying by in California all the time. But
yeah, because you live in a major
city. Expected.
Oh, Dylan's calling me back. Oh well, too late. Yeah, because you live in a major city. I live in a suburban kind of area, so it's not. The protests that I think are going on here are very mild. They're mostly actual protests, but I can imagine where you live, it's just like, oh.
Yeah, it's a little bit of a stressful environment, but things have calmed down in recent days, so that's it's good to see, and I think that there's been some meaningful progress made. So
that's
all
good.
is well.
Yeah.
And I live in the desert, so I don't see any of it.
Well, yeah, I think that it's just been the constant stream of video clips of police brutality on a daily basis. There's a guy on Twitter, he's like a lawyer, who's been posting, he's had over 250 videos of police brutality and just showing like more and more and more and more. And it's like, this is all the kind of stuff that just like has always existed, but for a lot of people, including myself, we just didn't believe that it was such a dramatic issue as it was. And just seeing all this happening all at once is just like so shocking, of just like, oh my God, no, this is like, this all needs to be done. Like this cannot keep going.
Right.
Is that one video of the dude?
I feel like you're saying exactly what we're all feeling, Joe. I mean, everybody has known this to be an issue, and it's something that we've kind of turned a blind eye to. And at a certain point, just reaches a boiling point, or we can't take it anymore. So I'm right there with you.
And obviously, with the whole COVID and being trapped at home, people are very people are a little on edge and in a different mindset that they would normally be. I don't think that this would have. I don't think that this would have been as huge as it was if it wasn't for the fact that people have been stuck at home and people are like just unruly and just tired of Trump's bullshit. And Trump's just monstrously evil way of running a country. Just fucking hell.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
Sure, yeah. I think COVID has really given everybody time to reflect and be present with themselves and maybe slow down a little bit. Where you're right, the news cycle would have moved on beforehand, but now that we've all had some time to really slow things down,
Everyone's forced to pay attention. You have to pay attention
Yeah.
because there's nothing else to pay attention to. And the fact that
Right.
Exactly.
everyone always says like, like during like Pride Month, like right now it's Pride Month, and a lot of companies have switched over to their usual Pride logos, and everyone always says like, oh, it's just brands trying to get you to buy their stuff by supporting Pride for a month, blah blah blah. And for the most part, it is positive when companies do that. Like, it is a good thing because it just kind of normalizes it for more and more people. So it's like more and more people like start to see like, oh, this is just society now that people accept this. So the more and more companies do that, the better it is, even though they are just trying to get good PR. But right now, with all the companies coming out and showing their support for Black Lives Matter movements and stopping police brutality, it's causing everyone to see it, and everyone to see, like, get on social media, see all these different things and all these different links, and it's just getting into people's heads, and it's allowing people, or not allowing, forcing people to be uncomfortable with what they're seeing and not be able to hide away from it via like their job or their usual way of living. And because they're stuck at home and like they have to watch it.
Yeah.
Right.
It's been a week, hasn't it? To say the least, it's been a week.
Yeah. That's the best way to put it. It's been a week.
Been a fucking week. And I'm just and I honestly was surprised with some of the company's responses. Like Call of Duty's response was amazing. Ben and Jerry's, fucking hell! Like what a moment that was. And even though Nintendo didn't do like the most crazy thing, I'm just shocked that they even responded in general. And it's just like, that's how big this is, that fucking Nintendo responded to it.
Right.
I'm gonna invite Dylan to pop in.
All over the world.
That might destroy our video stuff. But he's audio only. But yeah, obviously, yeah, Black Lives Matter. I'm going to be posting another charity link into the description this week. Oh, in fact, I think I forgot to put the charity link for last week. Oops. I'll be posting the same charity link for both episodes this week and last week. And you know what? I'm going to post it on the Space Jam episode 6, the one that actually has views on it. Because that might be a little bit more effective. So yeah, that's all I can really say about it. I mean, obviously we don't have that enough perspectives to really give a good enough overview on it, but it is something that's happening, and I always feel like for this podcast that is supposed to be a podcast about us being stuck at home during this pandemic, I think it's good for us to talk about the current events, and there is no more current event than what's happening right now.
That's true.
Yeah, definitely. Thanks for bringing it up, Joe.
Yeah. Today we're also going to talk about a very BuzzFeed question that Andrew brought to us yesterday, but I figured we'd have a more discussion on it, which is, what is the lamest superhero? And I thought it was such an interesting question, but I wanted to put some stipulations on it, because you can dig through the weeds of like go to like 1985, some random ass comic book hero that had like 3 issues and then got canceled, and get something like that. I want to put some rules on this. What is the lamest superhero? But they had to have appeared in some sort of movie, TV show, or video game beyond just their comic book.
Okay.
And they have to be comic book origin character. So no, you can't use like the Incredibles or something like that. Even though, obviously, the Incredibles would not be the lamest superhero. Come on, guys. We know this.
I think the Incredibles, yeah, it's a good thing that we're not bringing the Incredibles into this, because, that's S tier in my book, right?
Yeah, that's up there. Definitely up there.
Frozone? Super Suit? You gotta be kidding me.
So who's going to start us off?
I actually don't have an answer. I kind of had to think about it for a little bit. I was like, do we want to talk about Green Lantern?
I'll give you some hot takes. I came up with some stuff right on the spot. So I think there's a good duality here, right? So 2 different implementations of the same character, DC versus Marvel, of course, and the cool version Ant-Man. The lame version, the Atom. What? No. The TV iteration of the Atom is just so on the Legends of Tomorrow on the CW verse. I cannot get behind it.
Oh yeah, there's all those weird ones in that, and like what is that one with the Invisible Man guy?
Yeah, he's like an iteration of Iron Man versus Ant-Man.
Doom Squad. That's
like
what it is.
yeah, the Doom. Yeah. I just can't get behind it. So I'm going to say for my lamest is the Atom.
Interesting. That's a good choice.
Valid choice.
I want to go something a little bit more spicy. Because you said that was a hot take. That wasn't a hot take. Come on, man. It wasn't hot enough. I need something hotter.
Yeah, you need something hotter.
Like something hotter than the Atom. Let's get some real... Like, you know who can give us a real hot take? A real spicy take? Me. That's... No, kidding. Joey, go ahead. Oh shoot, my mic is not even close to my face. I put it so far away.
God. I'm gonna have to stick with my original pick. I'm going to go with Aquaman.
Even factoring in Injustice Aquaman, and Jason Momoa Aquaman, you still think Aquaman as a whole is... Oh, by the way, we're treating this as like you taking every iteration of that comic book character and combining them into a score. Arbitrary score.
Yeah, and it's going to be a very low score for me. You can say that he was in Injustice, but the only thing that makes Aquaman badass is how good you control him. And his power sucks. Yes, he can communicate with fish and sea creatures, but about it.
But he can like swim super quickly, you know. He's got that like
on water. Superman can fly. Batman has the Batwing.
But can't the Trident like the Trident can kill Superman though, right? That's like one of the few things in that tier of like
not his power. That's just an extension. That's a weapon.
Oh.
My pick is Aqualad.
Aqualad from the Young Justice series.
No, from Teen Titans.
Oh yeah, that's
actually, you know what?
Rival.
No, I want the little fishy mechanic dude, Tram. You know that guy? He's like
yeah.
He's like Aqualad, but he's more fishy looking, and he's got a wrench.
Power though, he could turn gigantic. I remember that.
He did? Oh, no, Tram's cool. Tram's cool. Let's leave Tram alone. Cool. # leave Tram alone.
I need to look up Aqualad. I'm forgetting what he looks like.
He had the long black hair and the blue outfit.
Oh yeah. So what did he do?
He pretty much was just Aquaman.
He's like Robin, but for Aquaman.
Yeah.
Aqualad. You know.
I've also seen him as like the real life version of him. Like if you wanted to just Google Aqualad real quick, you'll see the Titans TV show season 2 iteration of Aqualad. Do you see that?
I'm looking
like Titans the show, the live action show.
Yeah.
Oh god.
Yeah.
That show good, or is that show just absolutely awful?
I feel like that show
had the worst trailer reveal I've ever seen. Fuck Batman!
Worse than the live action version of Avatar.
Oh, like the M. Night Shyamalan?
Yeah.
So because I've been watching Avatar with Haley, and I was reading about the Netflix adaptation, and they actually have the original team back to make it. So I actually think that might actually be good, hopefully. Whatever, more Avatar is always good.
Maybe.
They're saying it's one of the more expensive Netflix shows. Anyway, I digress. We're talking about superheroes.
We're talking about superheroes. I had one in my head. Thinking about Teen Titans got me into like, okay, there were a lot of Teen Titan characters in that show by the end of it, and I'm thinking of like the episode called, it was the Tournament of Heroes, where they just randomly got teleported into this like tournament like battle thing, like it was Robin, Cyborg, and Beast Boy.
I remember that.
Mm-hmm.
There was the fucking hero, and this is a really weird episode because like it was completely like it it was almost like a what if episode, like that just never really got called back on again. It was completely random. But there was that big giant dude, Wildebeest.
I remember Wildebeest. Yeah.
His power was that he was a wildebeest.
That's it.
He couldn't change back. He was just a wildebeest. And he had armor. That's how sad he was. He had to have armor.
So going back to Aqualad, there is the Aqualad from Young Justice. Now that's an Aqualad I can stand behind. Like, he looked badass and he had water katanas. That's pretty cool.
Really?
Oh, yeah. He had the cool swords, and there was an episode where he had to like play a double agent or something, and he had to stab one of his friends to make it seem like he switched sides, but he like bent the water around them, like curved the blade so it didn't like penetrate them, and it very cool. Yeah, I like that.
That's an awesome Aqualad. Not the Teen Titans Aqualad. Fuck that Aqualad.
So I've got I'm pushing for Wildebeest here. I've got his Wikipedia page, and it says there's been multiple Wildebeests in DC Comics history. There was Wildebeest 1, who was a poacher and a mercenary, and then there was the Wildebeest Society, the New Wildebeest, Cybernetic Wildebeests, and Baby Wildebeest.
Oh my god.
Yeah, if you just Google Wildebeest superhero comic book, you'll be absolutely shocked by how much is actually out there.
How much Wildebeest lore is there? Oh, damn. His design actually looks really dope in the comics.
Yeah, pretty cool.
He's just this giant jack dude with this golden armor on his head.
I don't know, it doesn't do it for me. I agree. Wildebeest, not it. That's not the one.
Oh, damn. Nope. Female Wildebeest is hot.
Okay, all right.
All right, no, I retract my statement. Wildebeest, not the lamest superhero. Oops, shoot. I just turned on Steam. No, bad Steam.
So, how do you guys feel about Hawkman and Hawkwoman? Do we find that to be an interesting set of heroes, or like their story or lore?
I remember from Justice League, Hawkgirl or Hawkwoman was like, she had a mace and wings, and that was it, and that was cool to me. So I'm good with Hawkwoman.
I'm good with Hawkgirl woman, whatever they call her.
Really? I don't know. It just doesn't do it for me. And they tried to flesh out, like they had a whole story arc about how they got their powers through like Egyptian aliens, that like the whole ancient aliens thing is basically the Hawk girl and guy origin story, and it's also like a Romeo and Juliet, like timeless love, like they get reincarnated. So it just continues on, and they're like supposed to be like soulmates, and then that's when our favorite Green Lantern like love interest like got in between.
Oh,
I don't know if
right.
Yeah. But it didn't do it for me. I was like, this I cannot. I don't like
what Martian Manhunter?
I was gonna bring up Martian Manhunter.
I feel like Martian Manhunter is like the weirdest. He's got the dumbest name. He's like an alien. His name is John.
His name literally explains what he is. He's a Martian. He hunts men. I just don't get what he does power-wise.
He's like kind of like a ghost, I guess. Maybe, I don't know. I just remember from Justice League, I guess.
Not
so
a
he's
lot.
Essentially like the Vision, though, right? From the Marvel side of things.
Yes.
How do we feel about Vision?
I like Vision. He's got a television show coming up.
Speaking of Vision, what's going on over there in your world, Andrew? You're all purple.
Oh, really?
He's not purple to me.
No.
He's not purple to me.
I haven't changed anything.
He's purple for me. Yeah, I'll send a clip to you guys.
I don't know what to say. I didn't do anything.
I don't know.
He's fine. He's not on my end.
Weird.
Must be on your end.
Must be on.
So, Vision's got that show coming out, the WandaVision show on Disney Plus,
That's
and
correct.
I think that they have to delay it because chronologically, the Falcon Winter Soldier show is supposed to happen first, right?
Yes.
Well, I think that the WandaVision show is kind of its own thing. And I think that because it's kind of like a house sitcom, they might be able to film that a little bit easier, and that's why it bumped it up, because it's coming out before it now, isn't it?
Yeah, but all of the stuff is being delayed one after another because they're all chronological. But the Black Widow movie has been pushed until the winter.
Right.
So we're not getting a good Marvel drop this year until November, really.
Yeah, but after that, it's going to be just constant Marvel stuff. Like, we have like this year and a half break, and then just the gauntlet of Marvel stuff.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. Put it in my veins. I can't wait.
I'm just all of it. I don't care. Like, there's so many people like, I'm finally okay with jumping off Marvel. I'm like, no, you're not, bitch. You'll be back. You need that hit. You need it. Put it between your toes, motherfucker. Come back. You'll be back. No, it's just like they always nail it, and they haven't had a miss. Like, they haven't had like an actual miss, like financially or anything like that, but they haven't had like a real miss since like Thor 2, and it's like that was years ago.
Thor 2 was a severe miss. Yes.
If Thor 2, it wasn't a severe miss. Like, if Thor 2 is
I did not enjoy it. I'm sorry.
When was the last time you watched it? When it came out?
Couldn't tell you.
It's been a while.
I watched it a little bit after it came out.
I would say that Endgame even makes it better, even a little bit. But I feel like if Thor 2 is your miss, your superhero franchise is doing A-okay. It's better than your miss being fucking Justice League.
Speaking of which, HBO Max will be, which I think I have now because I have HBO Now. At least I've noticed like all of the apps have switched. But we have the Snyder Cut coming out, which I'm excited for.
I'm actually excited for that. Because here's the thing, I've never seen Justice League before because it's such a trash movie that I was like, I'm not going to watch it. I'm going to watch the Snyder Cut, and Snyder Cut is going to be my headcanon official Justice League tie-in. So there you go. I'm a hero.
I just can't believe that they're, first and foremost, I have to say that, the Snyder family, my heart goes out to them. It's such an unfortunate story to hear, like, what that vision was, and then having to step away to deal with all those family issues and trauma, and then having that movie still come out, but under a new vision, and it just sort of being this half-baked thing. And way to go to HBO and Warner Brothers and all the studios involved. I don't know.
For actually coming around and just being like, let's just do it. Let's put $20 million in this. Get it re-edited. They're gonna do like fucking a 6-part series on it or something like that. Like, that's incredible.
Yeah, and all of the actors who, they all love the Snyder family. So them like agreeing to come back and reshoot some things, like, that's great. That's such a feel-good story, and you never really hear about like schedules aligning that way in Hollywood. So that's awesome. I can't wait.
And
even
I think
if it's bad.
Even if it's bad, I don't care. I just feel like it could actually bring about the DC universe back to where it should be in a sense, where like if it goes well, like, I can imagine them just being like, fuck it, this is the canon like storyline now. Like, they could justify it by being like, oh, when Flash actually went back through time, the timeline got messed up, so now there are 2 timelines, but the other timeline we're not going to go back to.
That would be a good idea.
Yeah, honestly, with the CW show, they did their massive crossover this past year, and they brought on the movie version of the Flash to interact with the TV version of the Flash. And so I think now it's just sort of like official that the DC universe is a multiverse, and so any iteration is canon, and it doesn't really matter.
Yeah, I feel like we can thank.
I think that's a great way to fix it.
Yeah, I feel like we can thank Spider-Verse and Endgame for actually going with like multiple universe kind of stuff, like getting people used to this idea of like a more beyond just like a single universe kind of storyline. It's like your average audience can actually look at this and be like, oh, I get it, I understand what's going on. And I think that's really impressive. Okay, well, what's our lamest
Totally.
superhero? Let's get our final thoughts.
I'm still with Aquaman.
Still with Aquaman. Andrew?
Joe, is Wildebeest a superhero or a villain?
Yeah, I think he can kind of be both. Because he was a superhero
Okay.
in Titans. Well, kind of. Maybe. I don't even know. I don't even know.
I'm gonna say Wildebeest. You've convinced me. After looking at the photos and all this, like I would rather read every Atom comic out there than go through even one single Wildebeest. That's my choice too. You've
Right.
convinced me. And I'm sorry, I love the Aquaman movie, so even though talking to fish maybe isn't all that cool, he's like a king, and they fleshed out the lore a little bit. It's all right,
Well, I never saw it. That's how lame he is to me.
I'm gonna go
Do
with.
you think that they're gonna get?
Go ahead.
Sorry, what was that?
I was gonna transition, but go ahead.
Oh, I was just wondering, like, do you think that they're gonna get another shot at doing Jason Momoa's Aquaman, like a sequel?
Oh yeah, that movie made like $1 billion, didn't it?
Yes, let's do a second movie of talking to more fish.
Yeah, let's do it, baby. I'm gonna go with Iron Fist because I fucking hate Iron Fist. Yeah, that's right. That's right. That's right. I said it. Iron Fist is lame. He's a lame character. He's got a lame costume. He's a lame character.
No, wait, did we watch the Netflix version?
Isn't that the bad? Wasn't that the worst one?
Okay, well, it wasn't good, and it was the worst one out of all of the Netflix.
I feel like of all the Marvel stuff, that is the bottom tier. So you get the axe. Goodbye, Iron Fist.
All right.
There we go. It's my decision.
I'm insulted. I thought Iron Fist was cool.
Well, he was voiced by Johnny Young Bosch in Marvel Ultimate Alliance 3, a game that was exclusive to Switch and never came out to multiple consoles like the PlayStation or PlayStation 4 or the PlayStation 5. Speaking of the PlayStation 5,
oh my!
Last week we brought on the topic of the PlayStation 5 event, and they canceled it. And I hadn't uploaded the podcast until after they canceled it. So it was really awkward to put out that podcast where we talk about the PlayStation 5 event happening and then getting canceled. So we're now going to talk about it being canceled. But I figured I'd ask Andrew a few things about his thoughts on the PlayStation conference, since he is our senior Xbox editor. Xbox enthusiast here on the show. So I would ask you a few questions. Are you gonna watch? Or you are gonna watch this? I forgot. Are you excited for this? What do you want to see? And what does PlayStation have to do to convince you to get a PlayStation 5? That's the questions I'm asking you. Start with are you excited for this event?
Yeah, I'm excited for the PlayStation 5 event. Very tuned in. Obviously, as you said, big Xbox fan here. But I've grew up with PlayStations and around my house as well. So even though I skipped out on the PS4, I am interested to see if PS5 can bring me back around.
It would be a good time to get on the PS5, because right now I wouldn't get onto the PS4 unless you're on a budget restriction, because it's going to be backwards compatible. So all that PS4 stuff is coming in, and we don't know. It might be backwards compatible with the other PlayStations. They haven't really confirmed or denied it yet. So
That'd be cool.
Yeah, I think that's my biggest question. Is I don't know. I'm very tuned into a few of these things, and outside of speculation, I don't know exactly what's happening with the PS5. We've seen the tech specs, we've seen the controller, and all of that is great. I think we've seen Godfall,
a little
and
bit. We've seen Godfall, and we've seen that Unreal 5 demo, and that's kind of it.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and as far as on the record, now there's a lot of things that we sort of can assume that are going on, but I need to see something. So that's what's going to sell me on it. Is if they just come out with a banger show, I am definitely the type that just gets seduced by the flashing lights, and I could totally see myself getting a PS5.
It's new tech. It's cool shit. I think it's just exciting. So
It is exciting.
so do you think like a big what do you think, what convinces you to get the PS5? What, and I'm not saying like switch sides, but just add the PS5 to your
Collection, repertoire,
yeah,
whatever you want to call
Definitely. Well, adding to it, I would need to see something that scratches like multiple itches, because although I totally love that PlayStation has cornered the market on these like cinematic experiences,
the cinematic third-person action game.
Yeah, and they do a wonderful job with that. I've never really looked at that and thought that I would spend much time, like those would be like sort of isolated experiences for me. And I'm much more of the gamer that loves to go back and play things to exhaustion. So I would want to see some sort of multiplayer game with like a fantastic story that I could get through, and then just spend countless hours in the multiplayer. So if they can do that with an exclusive, I'll be there for it.
So here's my pitch for you. Do you know the game Horizon Zero Dawn?
Mm-hmm.
It's one of their biggest like brand new IPs, 10 million game seller, tons of awards, game of the year candidate. It was really cool. Everyone expects right now that Horizon Zero Dawn 2 is going to be the launch game for the PlayStation 5. That's going to be their big launch push, or at least launch window push. Because
Right.
with COVID, who knows? The team that made the game's Guerrilla Games, and they also made, I think it's Killzone. It's either Killzone or Resistance, one of those two like PS3 franchises that no one cares about. No one cares about. That's why they don't make them anymore. And there are a ton of, not rumors, but little bits of evidence that point to that they're going to make a multiplayer, some sort of multiplayer aspect to Horizon Zero Dawn, whether it's its own spin-off game or maybe a game that goes in between Zero Dawn 1 and Zero Dawn 2. I think it's going to be called Horizon Second Dawn, but that's just me. Because everyone's like Horizon Zero Dawn 2, Horizon 2 Dawn, and I'm like, no, Horizon Second Dawn. Come on, people, it's easy. So what if that game has a big open world single player thing, take advantage of all that PS5 wonderfulness, and an awesome multiplayer where you get to hunt robot dinosaurs with your friends? Does that sound like the experience you're looking for?
That sounds great. I would love to be able to do something like that. I think Horizon definitely does look like something right up my alley in terms of like sci-fi. So very much into that idea. Like if they can nail like a cool multiplayer mode, get some good loot in there, give me some mythic and legendary items, I'm there for it.
Sounds like a good time. I wanted to we're getting close to time, but for the end of the show, I wanted to talk about, because for me right now, I'm definitely going to buy one of the two consoles. So I'm making this little game for myself where one of the two companies has to sell me on the console, and so far neither one of them has like given me a definitive like I have to get this day one. But obviously we were supposed to have that PlayStation event this week. So that should have been, I should have had maybe a decision today, but one of the small things that they've been talking about is their policy when it comes to new games and backwards compatibility. Obviously both consoles are backwards compatible, but the Xbox is doing something different where all games made for Xbox Series X can also be played on Xbox One for I think 2 years, I think is what they're calling it, and they have the smart delivery. Sorry, when I say Xbox games, I mean Xbox Studios games, so like first party games, and obviously with Game Pass and stuff like that. Because obviously I don't think EA is going to be like, oh, you could play Madden Xbox Series X on your Xbox. No, I don't think that's going to happen.
Probably not.
And PlayStation is saying that they are going to be making PlayStation 5 only titles from launch on. That they are no longer interested in putting out new games for the PlayStation 4, but all third-party games that are going to be released on that PlayStation 4 and hit that 110 million unit audience also has to be on PlayStation 5 as well. They have to release the version of PlayStation 5 alongside PlayStation 4, which is a very a very smart business strategy, and I think a lot of people are pointing that to be like anti-consumer, but I don't think it's anti-consumer. I think that's just normal console cycle systems. What do you think about these two strategies? Joey, you go ahead first. What do you think? What appeals to you more? Do you want that definitively better next gen experience, or do you like the fact that they're keeping around like the old tech and letting you play how you want?
See, the thing for me is that I've only ever owned PlayStation systems. I mean, yeah, I used to have an Xbox 360, but being that I no longer have a PlayStation 4 anymore, like if it was Sony that was offering up the, oh yeah, whatever comes out for PlayStation 5 is going to go back to PlayStation 4, it doesn't make a difference to me. I may as well just go all in for PlayStation 5. I don't care about the backwards.
But also considering that all those Xbox games are also available on your PC, and that you're on Game Pass, you are in the Xbox ecosystem.
Well, see, that's another thing, is that not all Xbox games are on PC. Some are just Xbox exclusive.
Which ones do you not have at this point? Because I think most of them are on Xbox, are on PC in some form.
I don't know which specific ones that come to mind. I just recall there have been times where we talked about games being on Game Pass. Whenever I'd look at the store, they weren't there.
Oh, you're talking about like Game Pass, like yeah, because some of the third party titles are on Xbox Game Pass and not Xbox PC Game Pass. But those aren't Xbox like first party titles. Sorry, in terms of first party titles, because they've been working on getting them all. Because I know Sea of Thieves, god damn it, was on Xbox, Windows Xbox, but is now available on Steam as well, which leads into my PC Xbox theory. But
gotcha. So I guess for me, my take is that yeah, both strategies are neat, but in my perspective, I'm obviously aiming more towards the just going for the next system and moving on from there.
Yeah, because I think that's for a lot of people. That's how it kind of looks. Where, unless Xbox is coming out with some major title on Xbox Series X, you might as well go on PlayStation because you have access to another platform that can play these Xbox games. But is it the best way to play them? Because with Xbox Series X, you're getting the best experience, and that's a different ball of wax. Andrew, what did you think about the prior question?
Yeah, I think that well, I suppose like I've always been of like the camp of old game is old. So me personally, it's not like a huge sell for me. However, I do have to say that I feel like I would save more money by going the Xbox route, just on a surface level, like ones and zeros, that maybe the box is going to be initially pretty expensive, but just given Game Pass and for 120 bucks a year, you get pretty much anything you could really want. You'll be saving a little bit more money in that regard, and having access to like your old library and things like that. It's great that the sort of like moving forward in like the Apple sort of way. Can
I throw out 2 points real quick?
Sure.
The one thing about backwards compatibility that the concept of backwards compatibility is really going to change this generation, because we have so many of these service-based games, like Rainbow Six, Destiny, Anthem, those types of games that are going to go beyond just that generational gap, where if you have Rainbow Six Siege on Xbox One, you're going to want to just pop it into your Xbox Series X, and you want it to just work. All your stuff is there. You don't have to restart or anything like that. And that's kind of the expectation. So in terms of backwards compatibility, that's sort of the idea, the bigger idea beyond just old game is old, because there are games like that people are still playing. Because I know you play Destiny too.
Yeah, no, that's a great point. And thanks for sort of correcting me on that, because I was sort of thinking about it like, the old definition of backwards compatibility, like, what am I going to be playing Banjo-Tooie for? I don't care about Banjo-Tooie on my
For me
Xbox
personally,
One.
I am such that person that I have all my systems laid out. I have the PS1 there. I've got an Xbox N60, like so many goddamn systems over there. And backwards compatibility isn't the most important thing to me, just because I have all those consoles and most of them still work. The only thing that's kind of stuffy is the PS2, but for the most part, it still works. So I like backwards compatibility, and I like that idea behind it, just because I'm that type of gamer that goes back, because we have a whole series that does that, because I have to beat fucking Shadow the Hedgehog by the end of this week. So
that's right.
youtube.com/BadRSN. So yeah. And my other point that I wanted to make, real quick. Hey Dylan, we're actually wrapping up. Just jumped in there.
All right.
The other point that I want to make is that you were talking about the best in terms of money spending, and I was just going to say that if you bought a PC, you'd be able to pirate all these games and be able to play them on your emulators. And no, I'm kidding.
It's very true. Now I'm kind of like getting into that market of like maybe maybe the PC way might be what I want to end up doing anyway, because my Xbox controller, you just plug it in. Same with PS4 controller, whatever you choose. And then, with Game Pass, I'm getting sort of access to some Microsoft Studio games that I care most about. So I wonder if I even need an Xbox.
Gotta play Microsoft Flight Simulator.
Matter. Maybe it just doesn't even matter.
If my theory about the Xbox Series X having a PC mode is correct, I think who even needs a PC?
Seriously,
it makes so much sense. I can't, like, it just, to me, like, when I thought about it, like, why wouldn't Microsoft put in a desktop PC mode on the Xbox? That would make so much sense. You could just download Steam, and then they have VR support. They have Steam, Epic Games, all these other like stores, and like it's like it opens up a huge market for them. I don't know. That's for another day.
Really easy.
Microsoft has been wild in the past couple of years with being led by new leadership, both at Xbox and Microsoft.
Better leadership. And Phil Spencer.
Yeah. Just night and day leadership changes.
Don Mattingly and
I think they're doing whatever it's going to take to win the American market. And if they can win the American market, I think that's good enough for them to start making moves in other regions as well.
Did you see the rumor? Did you see the rumor that they were going to team up with Sega and release, and instead of releasing the Xbox Series X in Japan, they were going to release something called the Sega Series X in Japan? It's not true.
That probably went more towards the conspiracy theory, but I did hear about some talks between Microsoft and Sega. Definitely,
it's such a funny idea. It sounds so ludicrous that it could work, but it's there's no way that's happening. To wrap things,
I was able to curve this conversation back towards Xbox.
Completely. Well, that's what I want, because that's what I wanted to finish up, because we don't really need to go into speculation about what the PS5, what's happening with the PS5 and like the stuff that they're going to show, because it's just like I can name Horizon, Gran Turismo 7, the Demon Souls remake. It's like, we can do that all day. I just wanted to end off with saying, like, for me, PlayStation 5 versus Xbox One, it's going to come down to who has the biggest game at launch that I need to play. If PlayStation 5 comes out, Horizon Zero Dawn 2, and like one other bigger one that's going to want me... Spider-Man 2, sure. That's going to make me want to be on the platform day one, then I'm going to go with PS5. But if Xbox Series X is like Halo Infinite, it looks amazing, and it's going to play so much better on the Series X versus my Xbox One S or my PC, then I'm probably going to want to get on the Series X. I'm going to get it both eventually, because that's just me. But I'm so excited to figure out like who's gonna get me, who wants me. Come by and get my vote. It's fun. It's nice.
Jesus.
Yeah, I can't wait to play Halo with you guys. It's gonna be so much fun.
I'm so excited to see what Infinite is gonna be about, because I feel like they're really gonna do something different with it. That's not just the standard. I think the multiplayer is going to be, fairly Halo multiplayer, but I think that I'm hoping that the campaign is going to be something like truly special. Like that's not just another Halo campaign.
Right.
Definitely.
Open world. No, I'm kidding. But yeah, that's going to do it. This was a fantastic show. Thank you for coming on, Andrew, helping us fill that gap that Dr. Zaxt, who's in the other chat room waiting for us right now.
I'm happy to step in, but I'm never a replacement. So shout out to Dr. Zaxt.
I'll
definitely a great pinch hitter.
I'll try to get a fourth window down here for the next show. Thank you, as always, Mr. Spicy Fries.
Yes, sir. Always happy to be here.
And thank you, the viewer, for joining us today in this wonderful show. This has been Social Discording. I've been Banner Sen. You can follow us here on twitch.tv/BannerSen, youtube.com/BannerSen. We've got tons of fun stuff. We're going to be reacting to the PlayStation 5 event when it comes out, as well as the Xbox event, as well as a bunch of other events and stuff.
Stay tuned.
Goodbye.
Bye-bye.